Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be Frauditor related and Anchorage PD related. Combo, I know, but Alaska Audits, who, well, I'll get into that at some point. He's going to be auditing a protest for what I've been reading is Anchorage PD's first police shooting that involved the officers wearing body cams. So we're going to get into that as well because, in my opinion, there should be zero protesting, and we'll get into some of the dumb shit that Alaska Audit says about it and what a bunch of the people from the news media in Anchorage and around other parts of Alaska have to say about it. But we're just going to jump right in. We're going to start with Alaska Audit's recording two different clips, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay, guys, we're in Anchorage, Alaska right now. So right behind me, we have a protest. So what they're saying is release the body cam footage right now. So the pigs knew we were coming. So when we get there, the parking lot's going to be empty because I imagine the police chief said, oh, hey, okay, no one in the parking lot. Everyone go down and go through the garage so we can avoid the public and the press. So, yep, you hear it. Release the footage now. So we're marching down there. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, guys, so that was clip 1, 38 seconds. We already have some things to break down. So the pigs knew we were coming. He's calling them pigs because he bases his entire personality around being rejected from being a bus driver, I believe it was. His entire hatred for government employees stems from him wanting to be one and getting rejected. So there's that giant red flag. And second, oh, they knew we were coming, so they moved all of their vehicles from a packed parking lot in super close quarters to underground in the garage or out for the day. Is that to hide from the protesters, the media, or is it, I don't know. 2020 was a solid time to show us what extremely dumb and uneducated people are capable of. I believe the number's like $2 billion worth of shit destroyed. Yes, if I have an entire parking lot filled with expensive cop cars, and I know protesters are coming who genuinely don't care about things, yes, I'm going to move my things before they destroy them. That's common sense. And yes, he is going to continue walking near them. He's not going to walk with them. This next video is 1 minute and 36 seconds. Again, bear with me. This guy is annoying as shit.
Okay, guys, so this parking lot right here, this is filled with cop cars. It's absolutely stuffed, basically. I mean, they're all over. There's none now. I mean, they knew this. I mean, they knew that this was gonna happen. I mean, it's insane. It really is. We got the parade over here. Justice for Chris. That's a big building. Remember, we can only access the lower lobby.
Again, just to give some perspective, because he's not going to tell you, the building's pretty big. We can only access the lower level. Anchorage, Alaska's population as of 2024 is 283,000 people. So that building has every right to be that large. You would need a hefty police force to police 283,000 people. Second, we can only access the lower lobby. Well, why would you need to go higher than the lower lobby? That seems like it'd be people's offices. And knowing you and your personality, you don't need to be in anyone's office doing anything.
Release the crowd! Release the crowd now! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Call the Robbie!
So I wonder if we can see anybody up there looking down. I don't see anybody.
Release the footage now! 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 We have to show it.
Okay, so now I think Alaska Audits is done. I don't think I'll show him again the rest of the video. You're welcome. Now we're going to jump into 3 articles, 2 of which I believe are from the same news source. One is from another one. And that's 3. I might add more depending on how long I want this video to go. with that also being said, I have some sources in the area because I have people that live everywhere at this point. They said that it's basically just this guy's family, which they're protesting because one of their family members were unalived. I'm not shocked by that. And then the run-of-the-mill Karens in that area just trying to stir up shit. Now, the first article we're going to go into is why they haven't released the body cam footage yet. Let's jump into that. Anchorage police say long-standing state practice bars release of body cam shooting video, which I'm going to skip half of it, go to the 3. A spokeswoman for the Alaska Department of Law says that for years the agency has shared its position that law enforcement agencies should not release footage that could be considered evidence prior to the completion of the state review into whether the shooting was justified or if criminal charges should be filed. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. You guys know I have a problem with pictures. I have a problem with pictures because it seems like news articles, news agencies never want to use pictures of what the guy was when the incident happened. It says 4 officers shot this guy outside of his apartment complex. We're going to get more into detail. I'm not going over this quickly to just get those 4 officers and him out of the way. The next 2 are witness testimony, victim statements, and not the body cam, but a security camera video of the actual shooting that I'm going to watch with you guys to a point for obvious reasons. But it said last weekend about 80 people marched at Anchorage Police Department headquarters to protest the decision not to release body cam footage. With that being said, I believe this was possibly what they're talking about. In the video we just watched, there was nowhere near 80 people. I believe the second video, after I cut in, it pans the entire thing. I tried my best to count slow-mo. I counted like 30 people, maybe 35 or 40 people, which is about half as much as they make the claim to be. Again, I doubt, from watching the video of him getting shot, this is not the guy that was shot. Yes, this is one of the misleading pictures. You clearly see that there's maybe 10 people in this video or this image, but they're going to say there's like hundreds of thousands. You see that now during the presidential nonsense. But yeah, we're going to skip to one of the victims' statements just so we can watch the victims disagree with each other on what happened. Okay, so before we jump into this second article, these next 2 are going to be from a source called Alaska's News Source, which is kind of spot on. My one critique, they write all of their articles. This one's by Rebecca Paulsha, and the next one is by John Thompson. Well, Rebecca here wrote this article like she was writing a screenplay for a shitty action movie. We're going to ignore that for the time being and get into the actual facts or witness statements of the incident. This also includes the video that we're not going to watch into the end. I believe it's at 33 seconds. Obviously, we're probably going to cut the last 5 for obvious reasons. But, yeah, the neighbor claims to have this great, clear video, and as you see, it's not necessarily the clearest when he goes into the light. But again, let's jump into this. They said they were called to the apartment on the, 7,100 block of Barefoot Drive at 2 o'clock in the morning. Automatically, not a fun time for a police call. And it was on a Monday, even, for a disturbance between the units of Handy and a woman. You'll find out that's his fiancé. That's the next article. She describes the moments that led up to it and tries to put it on the police, but it just sounds like it's this guy's fault. The video also has sound, so you can hear what's going on, which is also a gigantic red flag that they're obviously not talking about. They heard the police yell to come out and to put your hands in the air and to put your hands up. Yeah, this dude decided to say F that. Again, we'll see the video. I don't think he pulled the gun up on the officers, but the totality of the circumstances make it pretty clear that what he was trying to do. 4 cops shot, 1 from 1999. Dear Lord. That's a long time ago. I'm looking for one very specific spot. It's all going through the people investigating it, as it should be. The woman wanted to remain anonymous who posted the video online as requested by the family. Seeing as how we know where the camera's located, it's probably going to be pretty easy to identify the woman. Right here, I have very clear camera footage that shows him from the bottom of the steps, going down the deck, going down the steps, and standing at the end of the sidewalk. That shows that at no point did he point the gun at the officers. It was disheartening to hear that they felt the need to lie. The officers are saying one thing, a bunch of other witnesses are saying something else, and then this lady's like, oh no, he didn't do XYZ. And it's like, okay. Now this is where it gets kind of sketchy where it comes to the totality of the circumstances. Neighbors say that the police have been called to this dude's apartment several times over the years for various disturbances. He was just pled guilty to assault charges last year. Criminal mischief charge after that was still pending. They were there for yelling, the neighbor said. I never witnessed any physical altercation. Yeah, because this shit happened in the house. Unless you're Superman and have x-ray vision, you're not going to see that shit. And then the other one is I wanted to point out... Several neighbors report that they heard police yelled Handy numerous times to stop that night. The interaction is not seen on the surveillance video provided by neighbor. Shocker! It seems like the neighbor's trying to paint one specific story, and I don't like that shit. But this is what I was talking about at the very beginning of the video. This is the first time an officer in Anchorage has fatally shot someone while wearing a body cam, a newer tool being used by the police. And if I remember correctly from my other research, this police chief has been on the job for like a month or two, and she's already facing bullshit like this. So I don't want to call this the most factual. This is the article by John Thompson. I don't want to call this the most factual, but it lends the most details to the totality of the circumstances of the entire situation. So we are going to read just the highlighted section. This is the testimony from the fiancé. Let me see if I can zoom in a tad bit here. All right, so he started taking a new medication to help him with depression. You're going to find out that comes into play. He started trying to do over-the-phone counseling on Mother's Day, which the day before the shooting took place. And remember, he was shot at like 2 a.m., so this is basically one whole incident. He was especially rough day for him, and she actually told the neighbor to call to get him help. I don't know if she was calling the police to get him help, but I'm going to have to assume that that's who they were trying to call. He was just so sad with things. I don't think medication helped that much. And then he ended up mixing in alcohol. She told him not to do it. He still did it. So that's mixing depression medication with what you'll find out is a shit ton of alcohol. Because apparently she claimed he was blacked out at the end. She became increasingly worried because he decided he was going to go get one of his guns and start messing with it. She makes the claim that the firing pin was removed. None of these details the police knew upon arriving. Also, none of these details could possibly be even accurate. I don't see why, if he had a gun, he would remove the firing pin. This isn't the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, so I don't see how that comes into play. She told him to go put it away. He didn't go put it away. And then apparently he started scaring her because she didn't want him to feel that way, and it was overwhelming. I feel for this. Like, I have empathy for this, but at the same time, like, how many times can you mess up in a situation and still place the blame on police? She said the police were coming and to leave the gun and just go with them. He gave her a kiss, said, hey, they're just going to take you in, just put it down. And right here, and he was so blacked out at that point, he just kept walking out. It wasn't a slow walk. It was he was hustling, which again is another part of the entire situation that makes me feel like the police were more than likely in the right here. She saw him walking down the stairs, and she says it wasn't fast, it was slow. You'll see the video, it was not slow by any means. He took another step. I saw smoke and shots. I ran to the children. I told them to get down. And that's where that kind of ends. And then the police came inside to check on them. Yes, if you get a call for a drunk person who's been on depression medication and mixing them and playing with a rifle, it's not just a handgun, it was a rifle. Yeah, they're probably going to come in with a quickness if you told somebody to call them. Again, I feel bad, but if you're checking all the boxes of what not to do during a police interaction, like, at what point do you check enough boxes where you just go, I'll give the police the benefit of the doubt? I do, once you watch the video, which we're going to watch in a second. We're probably going to watch, I don't even know, 20 seconds maybe of the entire video. And again, I don't want to put something on the neighbor for not providing the entire video, but it seems like if they were allegedly arguing and outside or fighting outside, that would have been on video too. Just weird to me, but yeah, let's jump into that video.
The following program contains material which some viewers may find objectionable. Viewer discretion is advised.
So again, the way the fiance made it sound, he was just moseying on down there. The video shows that he was not moseying, and then he was swearing. And in my head, if he was swearing to himself under his breath, the random zoom cam from 30 to 40 feet away wouldn't have picked it up. Now, I have some contradictory information, let's call it that. So, one video, or one article rather, says that it was a rifle. I found another article from a different random Alaska news source that said it was a shotgun. I mean, it really doesn't matter at that point, just getting that straight. Allegedly, the officers, the 4 of them, fired 10 times. He was struck in the chest. And yeah, that's what it is. But, yeah, that's what Alaska Audits was trying to get involved in. You see it more and more with frauditors trying to involve themselves in anything that'll get them views. You saw Chris Ryder walking around like Bigfoot in the background of a actual police investigation, and now he'll tell anyone who will listen, oh yeah, I caused that. I'm the reason they investigated. Which is not the truth. You see other people getting involved in protests specifically. I want to say the frauditors from the chuckle fucks from California, who were all facing like felonies and legit jail time, were doing some sort of protest and got upset that people were trying to like live their lives and decided to like beat them, which is weird flex. But yes, I will try my best to keep on top of this, because it's only been about like just north of 10 days. So it really wasn't that long ago for them to just be throwing out that body cam footage. I know we had a lucky one in Detroit. We had several police shootings, and then like while he was standing on scene, he's just like, yeah, y'all are fucking wrong on his tablet, and showed the entire interaction about how the media was wrong. But if they have a long-standing policy or rule to just not put that shit out until the investigation is finished, yeah, I have no problem with that either. Don't go harass anybody. Don't go to the family's page, the fiance's page, the officer's page, the officer's family's page. Don't go to Alaska Audit's page and harass any of them. Thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.